Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I'm going to go over what I'm bringing with me on this kayak trip. And like I said, it's going to be 50 miles. We're going to get it done in 4 days, 3 nights. And I know I've already brought way too much, but the fact that this boat can handle the weight that it can, it's just really hard to not bring extra stuff. So right off the bat, these are the only 2 items besides my small little dry bag that'll have my phone and my recording stuff and whatever that's going to be right next to me in the seat. These are the only 2 things that are going to be on the outside of the boat. So unlike last year, I didn't have a lot of internal storage on that boat. And this year I've got more internal storage, but not as much external, which is fine. I don't mind that. I actually kind of prefer it because I know the stuff inside is for sure going to be dry. But with my pack here, this is a new pack that I'm using for the first time. It's a company called COR, and it's the board pack. And I found this on Amazon. I'll put a link to that so you can purchase it on Amazon. I'll put a link of that in the description. But I found this because it was something that they use. It looks like pretty prominent in California and like surfing communities. So I thought I'd give it a shot. It does have a full harness on it with the padding in the back and padding for your upper shoulders. It's got a sternum strap that goes across the middle, a couple of D-rings. It actually has an adjustable yoke up here at the top and contoured pads. So far, I mean, for what I paid for it, I'm really impressed with it. And it's just kind of the perfect size for what I was looking for. So I feel like I kind of lucked out because I went into this blind without anybody recommending it to me. So it's got a Velcro security latch up here, and I like that because if this does come unrolled a little bit, this for sure keeps it nice and rolled and compressed down. And you could even probably pull it over the top of this. But it has some 3M reflective material here in the front, so that's kind of cool. And then it's got a waterproof zipper. The zipper is underneath this rubber here, and it folds over the top of it when you go to unzip it. So inside this, I just have a little kit that has some morel patches on it, and a drum liner and some cordage and just some stuff to throw over my seat if it starts raining and we're stopped for the night, so it can be kind of dry. And then I've got some stuff for blisters, kind of like the moleskin. Not a lot in there because, like I said, I'm gonna have that little go bag next to me. That's a small little dry bag that I can take with me if we decide to pull over and go hike for a little bit. Inside this, the good thing about this, for those of you that aren't familiar with dry bags, the more purchase that you can have at the top to roll down, the better your dry bag is going to be. There are some dry bags that no matter how much length you have at the top, when you roll it down, you can still squeeze air out of them. But that's only if you're going to be submerging it and kind of using it as a flotation device. If I were to throw any of the dry bags that roll down into the water, or if it falls out and I grab it, there's no way it's getting wet. So, but it is good to leave room at the top. I kind of go by hands. As long as I have about a hand and a half that I can roll down, you'll be good. So I have this packed in order of necessity. So I've got my Gore-Tex jacket right off at the top of it. This is a Gore-Tex jacket I got probably 5 or 6 years ago. It's actually a Nike Gore-Tex jacket, and it's a Manny Pacquiao brand. This was just an impulse buy. I was working there for about 3 years, and this came through the store. It was a 101, and I just got a killer deal on it. It was like a $500 jacket that I got for like $60. So it works really well, and I'll be using that at the top. And then right underneath that, I've got my my waterproof pants. These are Columbia brand. I found these at REI for 50 bucks, and they're tape seamed, seam sealed, and with my my dividend, I got it down to like $32. And then I've got my second pair of footwear. And for kayak trips like this, there's nothing you can do to keep from getting wet, especially if you're going through any kind of rapids. to where the front of your boat is going to go under and water's going to come into your boat. So I learned last year the hard way that your footwear is really important, because muck boots are great and waterproof until your pants get wet and it wicks down into your socks and now your feet are wet. And once you get those things wet on the inside, there's no way that over the course of 4 days, no matter how much sun you have, that they're going to dry out. So this year I'm going a little bit different approach. I got a pair of, they're kind of like tennis shoe, trail shoes that are made by, I think they're either Keen or Morel, and they're all mesh. So Clint turned me on to that because he has a pair of Solomon's, and I couldn't find those online and get them here in time. So that's going to be my main footwear that I'm wearing when I'm in the boat. And I learned also that it's really nice to have a dry pair of footwear to put your feet into when you get at camp for the night. So if we spend a good amount of the day and get our work done and get 10 or 12 miles under us, and we get to our camp at 3 o'clock and have time to goof around and fish, it's just, there's nothing better than taking off your wet footwear and putting on something dry. So these are sandals I got when I was like in the 6th grade. They're a company called Gore-Tex, and they're tough as nails. I've pretty much worn out the bottoms of them, but these will be what I slip on to walk around in and have something that's dry. I've got my water bottle and cup. We're going to be using, or at least I'm going to be using my Sawyer water filter. So this is what I'll be drinking out of. I'll normally have this here in the boat and have it tied down with one of those like big bendable, I don't know what they're called. And then I've got my Tokes Titanium Cup. This is just so I don't have to fool around with digging into my kayak to boil my water for my meals. I'm probably going to be eating dehydrated meals at least for lunch. My water filter, I went ahead and got a couple extra bags, and I keep, Travis Henry turned me on to this, I keep my filter and my plunger separate in its own bag inside this gallon bag. That way what I'm dipping into the river is not ever going to come in contact and contaminate what I'm going to be drinking and filtering from. And then I've got my Baco, and then this is my stove and canister. I've done a video on this already. And I've got my toiletry stuff, some powder spray, some wipes, these big ones, antibacterial wipes. Those are really, really nice. My knife that I'm going to be having on my hip, this is one that I was given by Stumpy from the Pout House, and it was one that LT Wright Knives, they make it, and it's one that they made to kind of pass around some of the friends and people in the Pout House to test out. And I was telling Stumpy at the Blade Sports event that we were heading on a kayak trip, and so he said, hey, take this with you and put it through hell and see what you can do with it. So it's a GNS, but it's a new steel that they don't have on any of their knives yet. It's actually AEBL. It's full stainless. And then the other thing that's different about it is it's got a full convex with a small secondary edge on it. So they don't have a convex knife right now either. And it's also 3/32, so it's actually thinner than a 1/8 knife. And man, this thing is a slicer. So really excited about that. I waxed and or oiled and waxed the sheath really good. It's going to turn into a noodle regardless, but they told me take it as is. Don't try to get a different setup for it. Even put the sheath through hell. So that's going to be the blade on my hip. And then I have my Anchor solar panel and cord. I have my little knee pad and trash bag and a space blanket, and then my little utility pouch that Clint made me. And the only thing that's in here is like my sharpening device. What's it called? Work Sharp field guide, compass, and some cordage. So that's it. I mean, it's kind of a lot, but this is what I'm gonna take and put on my back if we go somewhere to eat lunch, find a waterfall or whatever, and I don't have to worry about getting into the boat to find anything. I can pretty much do everything I need with just this. And then the other thing that's going to be on top of the boat, on the outside of the boat, is my bucket. And this year, I didn't try to combine my food and my cooking. I just filled this up with food. And I know I have way too much in here than what I'm going to need. But what I plan on doing is when we get to our parting way of Travis and Major and them leaving and Clinton and I finishing out on our own, I'm probably going to pass off some of this food to those guys because they're going to need it more than I will. But I brought a lot more snack stuff this time that I can just eat real quick from the boat. And then I've got a couple of dehydrated meals that I made. And then other than that, it's just typical stuff that you would want to cook on the go. There's nothing in here that needs to be refrigerated. And yeah, and that's it. So I'm gonna put all this back together, and I'll go through the stuff that's gonna be inside the boat. Have a good one.